Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Your Favorite Libertarian. I'm your favorite libertarian, and today I'm going to be reviewing the MIRA Safety Fire Escape Pro Kit. But before we do that, we need to get into a few disclaimers. The first big disclaimer is that I received this Fire Escape Pro Kit for free from MIRA Safety. Now, they didn't send it to me for this review specifically. They sent it to me so that I could use it for filming for a film festival submission that I have submitted for their film festivals. More to come on the channel. If you subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff, you'll be updated on what's going on with that short film. I'll give you a sneak peek of the short film, etc. But they sent it to me for that, so full disclosure there. I did get all of this for free, but I will be reviewing it from the perspective of someone who is going to be spending their hard-earned money on this kit like you would, to see if it's worth it or not, and to talk about the pros and the cons. But full transparency, I did get it for free. And secondly is that I am a MIRA Safety affiliate. I have a lot of affiliate links. If you click on my description or in the pinned comment, it's a Linktree link. It takes you to all the other links because I can't direct link to the links because YouTube is dumb and they don't let you do that unless it's like not the type of content that I put out. Every other content seems to be fine, but mine gets demonetized. So that's really the only way that I can keep the lights on here is by people using my affiliate link, buying the cool stuff that they're already going to buy, and supporting the channel at the same time. The way the link works is you click on it, you do your shopping that you're already going to do, and I get a small commission, doesn't cost you any extra, and you save money with all the sales and the discount codes. So that's, a thing if you care about that. But what's this video actually going to be about? Well, I'll tell you. We're going to have a What's in the Box segment, which is everyone's favorite portion of the video, followed by a fitting of the mask to make sure it fits just right, you have a good seal, and then we are going to be doing some workouts in this mask to see just how well you can breathe in it when you're breathing really heavily, because there's restricted airflow, you got a filter in the way. And then we're going to be doing some things with some weapons platforms to see how well this mask works in conjunction with those. That's kind of important because chances are if you're needing a gas mask and there's some type of chemical threat happening, you might also need some other tools. And then after the testing's through, we'll get into final thoughts with pros and, dare I say, cons. All right, with no further ado, let's get on to the actual video. I think that we've already know. Yeah, I think that we've already know. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've already know. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. And now it's time for everyone's favorite portion of the video, What's in the Box? This is the portion of the video where I show you what's in the box. This box is so big, I can't even fit it all in frame, so I'll try to open it up and unbox the boxes within the box. First, we have the mask itself. This is the CM6M mask. This is actually a full CBRN defense mask, so you can use those filters, and because of the rubber that's used and some other things, this will work for those purposes. We're going to go ahead and open this box now, see what's inside. It is sealed so that you know when you're getting it that it is a brand new one. We'll go ahead and open this seal, see what's inside. Alright, so it is packaged pretty well. Ooh, look at this. This will get this canteen, which is pretty cool. All right, let's see what's in here. All right, so first we have an actual serial number for this, which is pretty cool. Warranty card right there. Have a owner's manual. Give you some directions on how to use this and how to put it on. Some specs. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then of course canteen and the mask itself. This is actually a sealed bag as well, so that's pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and open this up. All right, still have this stuff on it to protect the screen from abrasions. So here's the mask. It was very well packaged. As you can see, you have nice mesh to be comfortable on the back of your head and not get super sweaty. And then these straps are stretchy. Get your drinking tube here, spot for the filter on either side. You can move this cap to either side, whichever side you're not attaching the filter to, and then if you want you can even go dual filter if you're really feeling fancy, or you just need that additional filtration. All right, can't wait to put this on and feel like I'm Darth Vader. Next up we have two filters. They're both the same filter. It's the MIRA Safety VK530 Special Combined Filter. Yeah, so it gives you some information about what it does, how long it will work for, and any other information as far as like storage, expiration, that sort of thing. We're gonna go ahead and open one of these up, see what it looks like. It is sealed in a Mylar bag. Do not use this device if protective bag is not sealed. All right, so I mean they're really good at making sure you're getting a brand new product, so that's good. Let's see what this is. Got a little pamphlet about the filter. Okay. Gives you some specs. I'll try to get really close so you can actually read some of this. Go ahead and pause it if you want to read it. And that's that. Now let's open up the actual filter. See what's inside. It's like you can just rip it like this. Whoa. All right, here's the filter. Looks like, you can just pop this off. Yep, so this is how you would screw it on. And then this is what you would rip off so that you can get air flowing through this to filter out the air, because if you put this on just like this, you will suffocate. So don't do that. Make sure that you're putting it on correctly. I'll show you, I guess, how to do that. It seems like it'd be heavier, but it's actually not that bad. We'll see how it feels like on my face. You can see here, looks like there's some abrasions, some scratches. I don't know if that's just from it being assembled or moving around or whatever, but yeah, this is the actual filter. And the last thing that comes with this kit to carry it all is this bag. Now this bag can be used in many ways. I'll go over those right now, but this is the bag that comes with the kit. It has a super long name, but basically you can have it as a kind of sling bag or purse, if you will. You can also do a drop leg type setup with this, and there's a lot of Velcro straps, so we'll go over that right now. The straps, for the most part, are removable except for one. So this first strap, if you wanted to carry it like this, on your side, in the front, in the back, you have options, and this would be something that you could quickly take off or throw on if you needed to quickly go somewhere and you knew you wanted to bring a gas mask with you. Otherwise though, if you don't want to carry it like that and you just want to have it on your body with a bunch of other kit, then you can remove these straps just by using these little clippy-doos. As I think the technical term is clippy-doo. And then you have the ability to use it like a drop leg bag. So you got your strap here. This would Velcro to your belt. This unclips if you want to quickly detach it, but that's a strap. This strap right here is not removable. And then you have these leg straps, very generous spacing and sizing for the leg straps. You'd have to have some really big legs not to fit in this. You have some rubberized material, so it's not going to slide around. And then if you want to unclip these and slide these out, you could do so by going through these loops here. And then those would be removable if you didn't want these on while you have it in the sling bag or purse configuration. But this does not come off. At least I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Yeah, it is stitched on. So yeah. Now as far as the front of the bag and the inside of the bag goes, you have this little clip here to retain it. There's some Velcro right here if you want to put a patch signifying who you're with or what you're doing or just what you're into. And then you have Velcro right here as well for the opening. as you can see. And then on the inside, it's smooth inside, and then you have kind of a cinch bag top. So if you want to cinch this down even more, so that you're really making sure that nothing's getting in here or coming out, you can do so. And then Velcro it up, clip it back together. So there's a lot of retention, a lot of options as far as how you can use this bag, and this is something that comes with the kit. Now let's get this on the mask and get the mask fitted to our face. I like to, and this is up to you as personal preference, but I think it's a good idea to put the filter on first, because as you're putting the mask on, the weight of this filter is going to shift the mask on your face, and you might have to do some adjustments after you make your initial adjustments with the mask without this on. So first things first, let's get this ready to install onto the mask. Pop off the cap here. Oh, pop this tab off. That will allow air to flow into this hole, out of this hole, and into the mask so you can breathe. That's important. And then you can see here we have some threads. We're just going to take these threads, find the threads on the mask, and screw it on. Make sure that's nice and tight, but don't over tighten it because it's just plastic that you're screwing into. Now we're going to take our mask, and what you do ideally to fit this is you put the mask over your face, put the straps on, and then someone behind you tightens the back ones to make sure it's sitting perfectly on your face. But if you're lonely and you don't have anyone, you can still do this yourself. So, got this elastic stretch here. I'm going to take this part here that goes under my chin, put it under my chin, and then bring it over my face. After I do that, I'm going to pull on these straps to make sure that it's a nice tight fit, and then we're going to check the seal. So here we go. Like so. Okay, so now I can tighten these straps, make sure that all fits well. Tighten these straps back here. Now, if you can still hear me, we're going to check the seal, and the way to do that is take the palm of your hand, place it over the hole right here for the filter, and then take a deep breath in. You'll notice as you're breathing in the mask that the mask kind of pushes into you, just a little bit of suction because there's resistance through the filter. But when you put your hand over the filter, it should create a really strong suction, and that's how you know that no bad stuff's going to be able to come in as you're breathing in. Only the good stuff through the filter. It'll also test to make sure that the filter is properly secured here and it's all the way tightened on. So we're going to go ahead and put our hand over it and breathe in deeply. I don't know if you can see that. I'll zoom in here so you can see. Hopefully you could see that. I could feel it. Definitely is a good seal. So now that we made sure that the mask is sealed properly, we've installed the filter correctly, let's get on to some testing, shall we? As I started doing my mountain climbers, I could definitely tell there was more weight on my face. The mask kind of wanted to pull off of me because of the weight of that filter. Interesting. For push-ups, I noticed that I was breathing a lot heavier, and it took me longer to catch my breath after doing the push-ups than it normally would. As I started to sweat, I had to adjust my mask so that I wouldn't have that gurgling sound of the sweat and air trying to pull through the mask where it was separating from the weight of the filter. Next up, I tried some squats with the mask on in my plate carrier. The plate carrier is about 20 pounds with everything on it and in it. The bar and the weights, I think, is 65. So we're talking about like 85 pounds. So I usually go higher reps for this, 25 reps in a set. And after those 25 reps, I found that my breathing was so heavy that it was to the point where I just couldn't get a full breath, and I had to eventually pull the mask off so that I could catch my breath again. After that, I took some time to recompose myself and put the mask back on. I was able to do the calf raises without an issue. Yes, I was still breathing really heavily, but I was able to catch my breath and regain my composure with the mask still attached. But more on that later. Let's see how it works with guns. Alright, now we're going to test some guns to see what I can use with this mask and have the ability to still see through the sights. Kind of what you would expect. Yes, you can still use a handgun. No problems there. Next up we have an AR-15 with a lower 1/3 co-witness. And really the only way that I can use this is if I tilt my head that severely I can see the dot. So technically I could use it like this, but that's not going to be very comfortable for your neck. Or if I hold it up like this, I guess technically I can also use it this way, but neither are very good for repeatable shots or a very fine-tuned level of accuracy. Next up we have a scoped AR-15. This is a 5-power prism scope, and we're going to see if I can actually use this. So similarly, if I really crank my head and smush in the mask, I actually have to like bend the mask to actually see through this, which isn't great. And then same thing like this. If I put this up to my temple and use it, technically I can see through it, but I wouldn't recommend shooting that way. Lastly, let's look at something with iron sights. This is my Beretta 1301 Tactical. All the guns that you're seeing right now, you can see full dedicated videos and series on my channel, so if you want to check that out, go ahead. But this is an example of iron sights, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can shoulder this and see through my irons. Absolutely not. There's no way in any possible configuration that I can line up these iron sights and actually use this as an aiming system. So shotgun, definitely not. And now let's test it for what it was actually intended to be used for. Smoke. Alright, I've let a fire get down to the embers. You can see there's a ton of smoke coming out. And I'm breathing in deeply. I'm not coughing. I'm not tearing up. And I'll get right in front of the smoke. Breathe right into it, and my eyes are completely fine, my lungs are completely fine. This mask works. Final thoughts, pros and cons edition. Now that we've concluded our testing, let's start with the pros and then we'll get into the cons. I will say that the list of pros is smaller than the list of cons, but some of these pros have some weight to them. First, let's start with the comfortability of these straps and this back piece here. This back piece for the straps is very nice and a very welcomed addition. It has ventilation, so I never at any point, even when I was working out, did I have the back of my head start sweating. This was really good at letting air flow through. Also, these straps are very stretchy, very comfortable, so you can have this as tight as you need, but then if you need to get it on, you can still stretch it over your head and put it on. Also, a really nice thing about this being elastic as opposed to that rubber material like the rest of the mask is traditionally, is it's not going to be pulling at your hair as you're trying to get it on and take it off. So if you like your hair and you want to keep it, these straps are really nice. I think the combination of the straps and the way that this mask is shaped and the materials that they use make it very comfortable on your head and on your face. The second pro for this mask is visibility. You have a lot of visibility with this mask. As you can see, you have pretty much 180-degree view, so you can use your peripheral vision, which is very important to maintain situational awareness in some type of disaster scenario. Very important to have, so this does a great job at that. I have not, however, tested the 8M, which is supposed to be the best of both worlds between the 7M and the 6M. 6M, apparently best visibility out of those two masks. The 7M is supposed to be better for shouldering rifles and having a better cheek weld, but does not have as good a visibility. I'm very interested to see once I get the 8M how this compares visibility wise, but for right now, out of all the masks that I own from MIRA Safety, which is just this one, this has the best visibility. Next up for pros is the canteen that's included and the drink straw. It is important if you are having to use this and potentially using this for an extended period of time that you stay hydrated, because you're probably going to be very active if you're out and about with a gas mask on, potentially a rifle as well. You don't want to get dehydrated. That's going to decrease your performance and longevity in whatever you're doing, and the ability to have fluids, whether that's water, Gatorade, because it's got what plants crave, or anything else. You can simply take this little piece here, unhook it from this metal hook that's attached to the mask, and then this piece here is a cover, so when it's not in use, it is covered from the elements and chemicals. Pop this open, and then you have a little nozzle that you can then poke into the top of this container. So very nice that they include this. I would think for the price they would include it, but it's nice that it's in here. Also for pros, we have the bag with the really long name. As a sling bag, I think this works really well. We'll get into maybe some cons about this bag, but what I like about the bag is, one, it's included in the kit. Two, it allows you the ability to carry the mask and the filter attached at the same time, so you can just rip out that whole unit and put it on. And three is that it's something that gives you the ability, without having to integrate it into your kit somehow, you can just throw it over your neck and you can go throw it over your shoulder, whatever, and it's a quick grab and go type system. So that's kind of cool. Now we get into the heavily weighted pro, and that is that this filter actually works and this mask actually works. And I should note, in the filming of the footage that you saw where I was testing it out in the smoke, I did not have a clean shaven face. I had the same amount of facial hair as I normally do, and this was still able to create a good enough seal to not only keep my eyes from tearing up, but to allow me to breathe in deeply, smoke into this hole, have it come out this hole as clean, breathable air. So kind of a big deal, and for the price you would hope it does it, but yes, this mask and filter actually work at filtering smoke. And that's a pro. And now for the cons. As we go through the cons, you might notice a theme of every pro kind of having a flip side of the coin and potentially having a con to that pro. We'll start with the straps, as we did with the pros. While the straps are very comfortable, stretchy, all that good stuff, there are some things I worry about in terms of longevity and durability. One of which is the series of clips here. While they look cool and are functional, and I haven't had any issues with them, I do worry about these potentially breaking down over time, becoming brittle, because part of this is hard plastic, and in conjunction with the hard plastic rubbing against this elastic as you adjust it and just as it holds it, I worry about this elastic breaking down and potentially having you lose your seal, because there's so much give and there's so much flexibility in these, unlike the harder rubber, thicker rubber straps that you would see in like a milsurp type mask. The second con, and this is a big one for me as someone who is a defender and an enjoyer of freedom and liberty, I need my emergency or disaster preparedness equipment to work in conjunction with my other systems, specifically my weapon systems, which mostly consist of long guns. And this is not great for that. If you look at this mask for more than half a second, it's pretty easy to understand why this is not great for shouldering. If you look at the visor right here, it's very big, which is great for being able to look down and see what's going on left and right and in front of you without any obstruction, without tilting your head down. But it's not great for shouldering because this comes down so far that it's basically coming down to about here or here on my face, where I want to shoulder something and get a nice cheek well to be up here. So it's already stopping that from happening unless I tilt my head a lot to be able to line my eye up with the red dot in some cases. Iron sights is not happening at all. Absolutely no way with that shotgun that I could line up the sights to where they're actually usable. And the scope, good luck with that. I was able to get really close to it and make my head all weird and smush in the actual mask. I was actually bending this material with the power of my neck muscle to get my eye close enough to see it. Obviously, pretty much all of those options are not repeatable. They're not efficient. They're not going to be fast. They are not going to be consistent. And in the case of having a scope, you're getting a lot of parallax shifts in your scope if you're putting your head in all sorts of weird positions other than the position that you sighted in the scope on. Hope I didn't nerd out too much on that point, but it's kind of important to me. Next for cons is going to be the weight of the mask and filter combined and how it distributes the weight unevenly. You could imagine this huge filter on the side of your face is going to want to pull the mask this way, and it does do that. I tighten these straps even with this filter on, but when I started working out and I started sweating, I started noticing this wanting to shift off this way, and there being a little bit of a gap here and a little gap here, to the point where I could hear like a wet gurgling suction noise in this area as I was breathing in and out with the mask on. So I had to stop what I was doing, tighten this strap and this strap and this strap even more so that I could keep this relatively straight and secure on my face. So there's that. Is it a big deal? Depends on what you're doing, depends on the context you're in, depends on if you have dual filters. For me, in a mask, I'd probably want to have just a filter on one side so I can at least kind of use some type of long gun on this side, or just have the ability to if I need to. So I wouldn't want to have both on, but if you did have a filter on this side and on this side, the pro is that it's going to last longer as far as you lasting longer, being able to breathe longer in some type of situation where there's some smoke. But it is going to weigh you down even more and make your neck muscles even more fatigued than if you just had one. I should also note with the shifting of weight of this big filter, it does make one side of your neck sore than the other side in keeping up this additional weight. Now, for those of you who run nods and have helmet setups and stuff, I'm sure you could tell me all about how your neck muscles hurt if you don't have your helmet properly set up and the weight isn't distributed properly. Similar type of concept with having a big giant filter on one side of your face. Some other cons are going to be related to this bag. While this bag is great as a sling bag, it's not so great as a drop leg bag because of how big it is. This is not great when you are using your leg as a pendulum and you're swinging all this bulk and weight around. It can get snagged on stuff. And so while you do have some versatility in that you could use it as a drop leg thingy, or you can use it as a sling bag, I don't like that while you can remove the straps that go around your legs, you can't remove the piece that attaches to your belt. This is sewn in. This is not coming off unless you just cut it off, which I guess you could do if you know you're never going to use this the other way. So there's that. Also, you know me, I want to have the best of both worlds. I complained about this being way too big as a drop leg bag, but I think it's too small as a sling bag. And the reason for that is while you can fit the mask and the filter attached to the mask in this bag without any issues, it is a little snug. So when you go to rip it out and deploy it, let's say, it could get snagged on some stuff. The other thing that I want to increase the volume of this bag for is to be able to have the canteen and an additional filter maybe in this bag, maybe somewhere in the bottom, or having a front pouch somewhere, or maybe a couple front pouches somewhere where you could have additional filters or have the canteen next to it. Maybe even something where the canteen is in a pouch and it kind of like straps over so you can actually keep it in the bag slung in front of you, connect that straw from the mask into that so you don't have to like hold the canteen with your hand while you're drinking and then put it away. You could just have it be kind of like more of a camelback type setup where you can connect the hose and you can still keep doing what you're doing while you're drinking water whenever you need to drink water. So that would be cool, either having front pouches or just expanding this internal compartment to fit all of this stuff. A couple of reasons for that is, one, so you don't have to have multiple bags in addition to the gear that you're already bringing when you grab this bag. The other is that if you are staging this, or if this is one of your preps and you have gas masks for every member of your family, you could use this Velcro part, put their name here so they know which mask is theirs, the one that fits them, the ones that is sized to them, and then all of the stuff, all of the support gear related to that mask is in their bag. That would be awesome. So I don't know if they're looking for suggestions for version 3, 4, 5 of this bag, but those would be my suggestions. Just eliminate the whole drop leg thing, get that out of the way. Maybe have an option if you want to attach to a plate carrier, that would be cool, but otherwise get rid of all the straps and stuff. Put a couple front pouches in here to have an additional filter and a canteen, and then you wouldn't have to make this any bigger on the inside, just to attach a couple other pouches in front, and then this would be a pretty sweet setup to just grab and go, even more so than it is right now. And the last con is going to be reduced airflow. Now this is something I had heard of. I said, all right, yeah, I get it. It's probably a little bit harder to breathe with the filter because you have all these mediums that are stopping airflow to go just right through without any resistance. So yeah, I guess it'll be a little bit harder to breathe, but I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to breathe when you're really exerting yourself, you're breathing deeply, how hard it is to get a full breath with this thing on. So that's something that I just want to let you guys know of, as I had that experience. That's something that you're going to need to consider and just understand in getting any gas mask and putting a filter on it. It's going to be harder to breathe. And I don't think there's any way of getting around that, regardless of the brand or the type of gas mask you get. The filter is probably going to make a difference because of how big it is, small it is, how many mediums are in the way. But it is something to think about, and something I didn't realize was going to be such a big thing in wearing a gas mask when working out specifically. Wow, that was hard. In conclusion, and kind of to summarize the cons, some of these cons are across the board for all of their masks. Like the straps are the same for every single one of the masks that they carry. That's not really going to be a big difference, and that's kind of a con just in general on that particular part of a mask. Some of the things are more specific to the CM6M versus their other masks. So if you want to do a comparison on your own, go to the website, following my links, of course, in the description. Check all the different ones out, compare and contrast them yourself, find out which ones make the most sense to you based on your needs. If you don't own guns, you might want to get some, but if you don't and you're just looking for that visibility, you're looking for a lower cost than the other masks that they offer, the CM6M might make the most sense to you. If you want to be able to shoot, still want to keep the cost low, the 7M might be better. If you want more visibility and the ability to still get a good cheek weld, the 8M might be the best option, but is the most expensive option right now. So depending on your budget, depending on your needs, you can check out all the different options and see what works for you. If you could use my link while you're doing it, I'd really appreciate it, but it's your call. We're still free so far. Speaking of which, while we still have the ability to use the dollar, while it still has a little tiny bit of value, while it's still globally recognized, it might be a good idea to stock up on these things now, because besides the gas masks, which obviously help you breathe in clean air, there's also other type of chemical threats and other threats in general that can affect your skin. Some of these chemical agents, these seaburn threats, can get in, and it's important to also be able to stock up on hazmat suits, gloves, boots, maybe iodine tablets. There's all sorts of items that are available on their website besides just gas masks that you might want to look into. And now is probably the time to do it before the internet's no longer a thing, before we don't have electricity anymore. You know, worst case scenario type stuff. And again, if you want to use the links, that helps, because then I can help further educational content on this subject matter. All right, well, that's pretty much it for pros and cons. Stay tuned on the channel. I'll talk more about the film festival that I entered into with this kit. This is a kit that is on sale on their website, so feel free to check that out. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay free, and God bless. Before we go to the outro with all this doom and gloom, I just want to make sure that you guys remember that I take prayer requests. So if you have anything that you need prayer for, you can leave it in the comment section below. If you have any questions, comments, dad jokes, that's where all that stuff goes. And if you want a more private forum to put those questions or prayer requests in, you can DM me on Instagram. It's @YourFavoriteLibertarian on Instagram, and I'd be happy to help answer any questions that you have and talk to you there. In these troubling and trying times, it is good to know that God is in control, and if you read to the end of the book, we win. All right, that's all. See you guys later.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, I think that we've all had enough. Too late.